Good morning, everyone. I want to go ahead and get started. This is the tour for Splash Media Youth. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Duncan Gilman. I'm the Dean of Students for Splash Media Youth, and it's always a pleasure to be able to show students around and prospective students as they look into whether this might be a good program fit. Of course, if you have already enrolled, you know that this orientation is located as one of the first classes that you'll see in the program in the Foundations course. So feel free to, at any time, go back and review the orientation there. Or you can always go to our YouTube channel, which you'll find at youtube.com/SplashMediaU. And all of our pre-recorded, or our archived, I should probably say our archived tours are available there, and we do these on a weekly basis every Wednesday, just like we're doing today. I want to go ahead and get started, be respectful of your time. So what I'm going to do is switch the screen over to the school itself. I've logged in as one of our sample students, so you can see what the student view will be that you'll see when you do log in if you haven't already, or if you decide to enroll, this is what you will see. So again, we're going to spend most of the time in the school, so you won't see me, and then we'll come back at the end and answer some questions. I do want to point out, I would love for you to participate live. That's the point of doing these live orientations. So if you want to go ahead and type in your questions as you think of them, probably a good idea. That way you won't be struggling to think of what your question was at the end. So what I'd like you to do is take a look at the Q&A section, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's open here. So what you should see is a little on your, so I'm going to back up for a second. You may be watching on our website or on YouTube. So our website, splashmediau.com/orientation. You'll see the same view there on our YouTube channel. If you're watching in one of those two places, if you want to participate live, what you'll do is click the link that says something like join this broadcast. It'll be a little overlay link on the video. When you click that, that'll open up Google+. And in Google+, in the top right-hand corner, there should be a little tic-tac-toe-like icon that's got 9 little white squares. When you click that, while you're watching, one of the options is Q&A. And when you select Q&A, it'll open up a little Q&A panel on the right side of your screen there, the right side of your viewing window. So that is where you'll put in your questions when you have them. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over now to the program. And at the end, when I come back and you see my face again, I'll remind you how to open up the Q&A window once again. So pardon my screen flickering here for a second. I'm going ahead and do screen share. It's going to look a little weird for a second, so I'm going to switch over to my desktop here and go to the school, and you can see I've logged in as a student, my cleverly named new student. So creative. Let me just expand this a little bit so you don't have to worry about anything else distracting us here. But this is where we're going to spend most of our tour today. This is the school. This is the main page you'll see when you log in. Just a quick overview of the top navigation here. You'll see the courses drop-down menu where you can access the courses directly. Now, one note before we move on. If you're enrolled in Master Social Media Certification, this is the view you will see. Master Social Media Certification students have access to all 7 of these courses, and I can also see them just by scrolling down the page. Foundations, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, blogging, YouTube, and strategy. If you're enrolled in an individual certificate, you will see just that certificate program. So for example, if you're enrolled in Twitter, you will just see Twitter along with a Foundations course that we've combined. For those students who are enrolled in individual certificates, we take a little bit from Foundations and a little bit from Strategy, which was that last course, and combine it into a general studies course to give you an overview of online marketing. So again, if you're enrolled in an individual certificate, you'll see that certificate, Facebook. We even have Pinterest available as an individual certificate. You'll see that certificate plus Foundations as your view. But here we are seeing the entire Master Social Media Certification because that's the sample student view that I'm showing you. Our message system is a great way to have internal messages with instructors and with me. This is where I will post updates to the school. In fact, I'll go ahead and go here now. You can see I did a little update here about some new classes that we shot and updated some of our curriculum here. And I created a little note that I emailed out, and that also appears here in your messages. And you can see how many you have unread with a little flag up there. And you can easily mark one as read by viewing the whole conversation. So you just click view this conversation, and it will mark that message as read. Our resource library is a great place to return to as you're going through the program to find all the worksheets and templates that we mentioned throughout the program. So for example, we have a class about understanding the purpose of each network, of each platform, and that class is all about creating your purpose by platform spreadsheet so that you can present it to a client or you can understand it for your business. So that purpose by platform spreadsheet template is located in that class in addition to here in the resource library. So you'll see all of them, all of those resources that we mentioned elsewhere in the school here for your convenience. Support is a great place to go for frequently asked questions. We do ask that you submit homework assignments, so if you're ever having trouble with that, you can find answers to those questions here in the FAQs. You can also, of course, open your own support ticket. If you don't see your question answered here, you can either open a support ticket through our support system. Feel free to email us. That basically accomplishes the same thing. Or give us a call. We are happy to talk with you over the phone when you call us during regular business hours. Under your own student name here, under your own profile, you'll see where you can change your settings, your password, or you can log out. I would love for all of you to go, if you are students, to go in to your settings and update or upload a picture. We'd love to be able to put a face with a name. So go ahead and make sure those settings are all correct. And if you have a minute, go ahead and upload your LinkedIn photo or something you use professionally that you like a lot. Go ahead and go back to home here. I think the best illustration of the school is to go ahead and show you some classes. So let's go ahead and click into the Twitter course here. And again, you can also get there from the course drop-down menu right there. At the top here, you get an overview of what you're going to learn in the Twitter course, some bullet points about what you'll be able to do when you finish, and then we get right into how to use Twitter for a business. You'll notice as you go through all of our courses, we have them all structured the same way. We start with basics, and for Twitter, this would include things like setting up a Twitter account and tweeting and retweeting and what is a follow and how to get followers. Well, that may be actually a little bit further down, but you get the idea. These are the basics for the platform, especially helpful if you've never used this particular platform. And that may be the case in blogging or YouTube. Maybe you're not familiar with setting up a YouTube channel for a business. So those basics are very helpful. Of course, they will be a review for you if you already have that page or channel or network set up, which is wonderful. Always helpful to review. Now, we still, of course, do ask that you do the assignments in each section, even if the classes themselves are old hat to you. So after our basic section, you'll see we have divided each course into the 5 tactics which are essential for any social media platform: listening, building community, broadcasting to that community, developing original content, and then converting that community into customers, converting your followers into actual consumers of your products and services. We call these 5 elements, these tactics, the tactical wheel. And we like to think of it as a wheel because these things are never really finished. So even after you've done the last step of converting your followers into customers, you still have to go back and listen to their needs and continue to work on building that community and build a community of new followers. So it really never ends. It's a cycle. It's a circle. That's why we call it the tactical wheel. And the idea behind structuring each of our courses like this is that you can take these same tactics and apply them to any social media platform. You know, we currently offer individual certificates on Pinterest. We even have a mini Yelp course. We have an Instagram course that's coming soon later this spring. But there are obviously networks that we don't currently offer classes on. We don't have a Snapchat yet. We don't yet have Foursquare or Google+. But if you need those for your business, if you've decided that that's where your prospective customers are, then you should have a presence there. And you can take these same 5 tactics and apply them to that platform. And that's why we structured our entire curriculum like this, so that you can take these essential social media marketing elements and apply them anywhere with success. Let's go back up to the top and go ahead and click into a class. So each of these, just to clarify, each of these links is an individual class. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 classes in our program. And each of these links takes you to an individual video, and on average, they're about 3 or 4 minutes long. It's easy to view a couple at a time if you need to. We understand that our students are sometimes viewing these on their commutes on the train, or they're viewing these, in their spare time on nights and weekends. So we want to make everything as accessible as possible. And part of that is creating shorter classes so you can access them one at a time if you need to, or a handful at a time. In between those, you'll see that some of these links have these little hand and paper icons. That's an assignment. So we've put these assignments in places specifically so that you're best prepared to do the assignment. Let me show you an example of that here. So here we have back-to-back, we have a class called How to Use Twitter Lists, and then an assignment, Create a Twitter List. So obviously we put them in that order so that you're prepared and know how to do a Twitter list before we ask you to do one as a homework assignment. This is actually a good example to show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and click into this class. So I just clicked on the link to show this, to open up this class about Twitter lists, and the video loads right here. You'll notice on the left, I've got the navigation for the basics section. I don't have to click back into the main Twitter course in order to get to the next item. Basics, the basics section loads for me here, and I can just click the next item on the list. Same thing with all the other sections. So if you're in the listening section, all of your listening items will appear over here on the left, so you can navigate one to the next without having to go back to the main Twitter page. So I'm here on the class, How to Use Twitter Lists. You see my video window here. We put a screenshot of the objectives as our placeholder here. So before you even click play, you'll see what you'll get out of this particular class. So right here, even before I click play, I'll know that by the end of this class, I'll have an idea of what a Twitter list is, how to create one, and then some common uses for them. I'll go ahead and click play, and I'm gonna make sure my volume is down here. So the video is gonna play, and right here you see, I see those same objectives again. I think I'm actually teaching, yeah, there's me, I'm teaching this class. I'm gonna go ahead and click pause. We're not gonna watch the whole video. I don't need to show you the whole thing here. You can watch that on your own. But a couple of things I want to point out here. You see, I'm demonstrating, I've got a laptop here on my table here, and I demonstrate exactly how to create and use a Twitter list. I walk you through the process. This, even when we blow this up, when I show you something on the laptop, it appears on the screen behind me, and we switch to the full view in this whole video window of what I'm looking at on my laptop. In fact, I might be able to fast forward to a certain spot. Let me see, what's a good, you can see I can actually fast forward as the video loads. The video, you can see that it's very faint, but I've got a loading bar here, that little gray bar, and you can see progress as it loads. So here we go. So we're about a minute, 15 minute or so in. And so I've taken, let me go ahead and pause it again. So we took the view that I'm seeing on my laptop and we blew it up to the full screen here, but it's still relatively small. I mean, this is still, this window here is just a small part of your whole browser, as you can see in my example. So what you can do is push this full screen on your screen. So you can go full screen on any of these videos and see everything that we're demonstrating a lot clearer if you need to. So once you've completed this, once you've watched this class, the next item here is the Twitter list assignment. So if I know how to create a Twitter list, I will assume that I'm ready to complete this assignment. Our assignments come in 2 different forms. We have a text box where you can just enter a reply. So for example, if we ask you to send in a link, you can just copy and paste the link into the text box. Some of our assignments also include, actually a lot of them also include an upload option, because we want to see examples of what you're doing. Maybe you take a screenshot or send in a worksheet that you filled out on a word processing document or a spreadsheet. And this is an assignment I like to illustrate. I like to use this as an illustration a lot because it has both of those. So it's got two parts in this particular assignment. It's got a text box entry. I'm going to explain how I found the members of my list. And it's also got an upload portion. So I'm going to upload a screenshot showing the list. So great assignment to demonstrate as my example assignment because it has both elements that we look for. I'm going to click Edit My Submission, because I've used this as an example before, so I already have one started. So you'll see these load here. The first part, again, I'm going to explain how I found the members. So I'm just going to get spelled properly. Explain how here. So this is basic online text entry box. I put my part 1 answer right there. For part 2, I've got a little rectangle here where I can drag and drop my upload file, where I take a screenshot showing that list. And again, if you don't know how to take a screenshot, we've got that in our FAQs in the support section. What I recommend you do is somewhere on your computer, create a folder for all of your Splash Media U assignments. And I think I have that here. I think I've done that in my documents. Here we go. So create a folder, Splash Media U assignments. I should probably put something in there. So create a folder. That way you can archive, you can put all of your screenshots and spreadsheets and documents all in one place. That way when you're ready to upload one for the assignment, all you have to do is leave this window open here and drag and drop that file, not the folder, just the individual file, right into the drag and drop area. You can, I'm going to go ahead and close this now so you can see here. You can also, if for some reason drag and drop is not working with your browser, you can always click Add and find that, browse for that file on your computer. But even more so, even more of a reason to have a folder so it's easily findable on your computer when you're ready to upload an assignment. When you're ready to move on, you click Save Changes. This is a great feature to use if you need to pause in the middle of a homework assignment, because you still save the changes and have the opportunity to submit the assignment. So I can save my progress, but then when I'm finally ready to submit the assignment, I've completed both parts, I click Submit. For our homework assignments, these go directly to our instructors. And we have about a 1 or 2 day business day turnaround for homework assignments. So you'll receive your grade within 1 or 2 business days, depending on how many homework assignments what our current list looks like in terms of our activity levels. But that's about the average. You'll receive a grade in a couple of days, and you'll know exactly what you need to do to improve the assignment if you need to redo it, or we'll give you tips for moving forward if you don't need to redo the assignment, but just have one thing we want to clarify. So for that reason, we really, and also because these assignments are for the most part fairly objective, we really only assign 1 of 3 grades. It's basically a 100 if you've mastered the concept, and in that case we probably won't give feedback because you've done everything right. You'll get an 80 if you can move on, but there's something that we need to, something that the instructor feels like clarifying just for your own use in the future. Anything below an 80, we just give a grade of a 50, because anything below an 80 on assignments and exams is a failing grade. Passing is 80 or above. So as the third option for grades, we just give a 50, because that triggers the system to have you resubmit the assignment. So if you receive a 50, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with you. You don't have to feel bad about it. But there's something that you haven't understood about the assignment. So what the instructor will do is clarify the assignment for you, send that feedback back to you, and again, giving anything below an 80 just triggers the system to open that assignment up for you to submit it again. So you'll see an opportunity here to edit your submission or to resubmit in that same assignment, and you'll have another chance to do it. Speaking of the exams, which I mentioned just a second ago, at the end of each course, I'll go back out to the Twitter main page here. At the very bottom, you'll see the exam for that course listed. Our exams are 25 questions, multiple choice and true false. And these are actually graded not by the instructors, but by the system itself. So you'll receive immediate feedback after you click submit. But the same is true for exams that was true for assignments. You'll have an opportunity at the very end before you click submit to go back and review. So you can save your progress and come back to the exam if you need to before you finally click submit. Same grades on exams. Well, you have, because there are 25 questions, you can get a number of them right or wrong, but if anything below an 80 is a failing grade and you'll need to retake that exam. For exams, we build in a buffer of a day of 24 hours so you can go back and review any of the classes that you may need to, because you'll see which answers you missed. So you can always go back and review the classes that address those questions for the next 24-hour period that we built in before you retake that exam. One thing that's included, now this won't apply for our certificate students, but one thing that is included in our Master Social Media Certification that is a required part of your education in Splash Media U is our lecture series called Seminars. It's hard to say several times in a row. And these are more in-depth lecture style classes. So rather than 3 or 4 minutes on average, these are hour-long lectures that go into detail on these 4 subjects: campaign management, social media ROI, more detailed look at the tactical wheel, and then a really deep dive and a nice overview of search engine optimization. You'll find some of SEO in our blog course and our YouTube course, but really nice overview of where you should focus here in the search engine optimization seminar. The seminars, each of these seminars are accompanied by it's an exam really of its own, but it's a shorter exam, so we call them quizzes. They're really just 10 questions just to see that you've actually watched the seminar. That's all. These questions come directly from all the material that's presented in the seminar. So if you've watched one of those seminars, you have no problem taking the quiz that corresponds to that particular lecture, that particular seminar. One last thing that's also available to our, a mandatory part of our Master Social Media Certification as opposed to our certificates is the final exam. The final exam is a comprehensive exam that pulls questions from all of the other exams, all the material that you've already learned, and it's because it's comprehensive, it's 75 questions instead of 25 questions like the other course exams, but same format and exactly the same process. So you'll see multiple choice and true false. You'll have an opportunity to stop and save your progress and come back to it, and then finally submit when you're ready to submit the exam. The way that you know that you're ready to take the final exam, and the way that you alert us is by sending us an email. You see all those instructions here when you click on the final here. So you let us know when you're ready to take it. And the way you know you're ready is with these progress bars. You probably saw this on the Twitter course. We have a progress bar at the top of each course that shows how many of those homework assignments you've completed. So I can click into my progress here. I'm in Foundations, as you can see here. I can click into my progress and see what I've completed, what I haven't, and what I need to redo. So you can see this assignment I've completed, not completed. I failed this one, so I'm going to have to go back and redo my broadcasting examples assignment. But this will give you an idea of where you stand on each course. So in order for you to take the final exam, all of these have to say completed. And of course, the last one is the exam for that particular course. That is our whirlwind tour. I know I go kind of fast. I want to make sure I cover everything and still get you out in a reasonable amount of time, because I know you have things to do and places to be. So that's the overview of our social media certification program from the student's view. I'm going to switch back now to the webinar screen, the Google Plus screen, and go to the Q&A here. So again, if you're viewing on YouTube or on our website at splashmediau.com/orientation, what you might want to do is, if you want to participate live, if you have a question, is click on the overlay link that appears there that says something like participate live or participate in this webinar or in this Hangout. Click there. That opens up Google Plus, and then in the Google Plus video window in the top right, you should see a little tic-tac-toe-like icon. It's got 9 little white squares. Click there, and that should open up some options. One of them should be Q&A, and that'll put a little window on your video viewing screen there that is a place for you to ask your questions. So I'm going to make sure I'm looking at the right view here, and I'll stay on for a couple of seconds to make sure that you have a chance to have your question answered. All right, I don't see any questions coming through. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks again.